Vertically challenged, thank you. Hello. I didn't fall on the stairs, so I'm off to a good start. And I can tell you as a middle school teacher that middle schoolers definitely have stories to tell, so I am very excited for January. All the elements of the earth speak to me. They speak to me of who I once was, who I am now, and who I can become. Wood, fire, earth, water, and most especially wind. I love standing outside when a storm blows in. I have a big backyard and I stand out there and feel the power of the wind. I love it. When I was a child, I would ride my bike around my neighborhood, and I'd get it to the top of the hill, pedal furiously, and then as gravity and momentum kicked in, I'd sit up tall, spread my arms wide, and just sail down the hill. My mother was an ER nurse, and she did not like this because I did not wear shoes and I did not wear a helmet, but that was my moment, and it was sacred to me. It was sacred to me then, and those moments are sacred to me now. My friends called me Birdie, and I was sure that someday I would fly away. I would ride that wind to a new place, a new beginning, a new home of my own. My ghosts have been with me as long as I can remember. They are nothing if not faithful. They were there to cheapen every victory, there to rub salt in my wounds at every defeat. They were there to fill me with doubt when decisions needed to be made, and to fill me with regret when consequences needed to be faced. They were always there, watching, waiting, judging. Most of them were familiar to me. They had the faces of family and the voices of friends. Some were those who had passed on long before me, ancestors I'd never known, or great-grandparents that I barely knew. Some of them were lovers, long lost or never had, whispering to me that I was unwanted, unworthy, unimportant, easily discarded. I was haunted too by friends who found it so easy to leave my side. For years, I was haunted, and this is more than a little bit crazy, by the voices of my yet-to-be-born children. My greatest longing was for motherhood, and yet I was terrified. And so I heard them haunting me. Shouldn't you be healthier, Mother? Shouldn't you be wealthier, Mother? We've seen your sewing. There's no way you'll be able to make us Halloween costumes. We've seen your cooking. We'll probably starve. Are you sure you'll be able to teach us to read? What if you don't love us enough? What if we don't love you? They haunted me for years, but haunt me no longer. My children came, and now their voices ring with praise and gratitude. Most of the time. I became haunted instead by a multitude of seemingly perfect mothers. Their flawless hair, sweatless brows, tiny waists, perfect birth stories, effortless breastfeeding, beautiful homes, creative artwork, gourmet meals. Oh, the list goes on and on. All of it told me that I was inferior, and I believed those ghosts. Ghost of a perfect mother. What a bitch. Though he is alive and well, I have been most haunted by the ghost of my father. His face furious, his voice stern and unforgiving, his hand wrapped tight around my arm, my shoulder, the back of my neck, pushing, pulling, hitting. I learned that I was in the way. I was inconvenient. I was intolerable, insignificant. Sometimes there were apologies that I stopped believing long ago, but usually it was disappointment. That's what his ghost told me. I took that message and I carried it with me. Through countless years and miles, I carried it, and it haunted me. A year ago last week, I began a journey into myself, into my past. I had reached rock bottom. I was unhappy. I was stagnant. I tried desperately, but I could not see a bright future. Sometimes I couldn't see a future at all. And so I turned to my past for answers and clarity. I decided to confront these ghosts. And I realized that I was still Birdie and that I needed to leave my cage. When that decision was made, several other things happened. I realized that major changes would happen in my family. You see, I had a cage in my childhood, and I went smoothly into a cage of adulthood. The church I was a part of, you may call it a cult if you'd like, taught me that I was weak, insignificant, a sinner, and that I could not take care of myself. I needed a man to do that. So I had found a man, and he did take care of me in some ways for a while. But when I decided to leave the cage of my religion, it became clear that he would not go with me. Decisions needed to be faced, and the ghosts came. I couldn't bear their voices haunting me. So many voices telling me that I couldn't do it. I should just stay where I was, stay unhappy. But I knew that wasn't right. The wind blew through my hair and told me that there was something better for me. So I turned and I faced my ghosts. A whole crowd of them, bigger than this, for sure. I wanted to scream. I wanted to hit them. I wanted to run away. Mostly I wanted to tell them to fuck off. But I knew that wouldn't work. So I stood and I listened. I listened to each of their stories one more time. I listened to their messages. Some of them had wisdom for me, and others were pure folly. I listened to their messages, and then I let them go. One by one, they left me. Some are nostalgic and come back to visit from time to time. I listened to their message once again, and then I let them go. I'm sure they're ghosts I haven't met yet that will come with a message for me. I will listen, and then I will let them go. I have left my cage. I have found a new wind. I have faced my ghost and stood my ground. And I will ride this wind to a new place, a new home, a new life of my own. I will spread my wings, and I will soar, and I will be haunted no more. Mm-hmm.